If you haven't seen the previous episodes, make sure you watch them in order so everything makes sense. Hello again, it's me, Jane, and oh my god, I'm over the moon. I've never felt so relieved in all my life. Someone finally believes my insane story. Someone who truly understands that I'm telling the truth, that I want to help and to save, not to destroy and ruin. And it's this wonderful woman. Her name is Mary. Her name sounds like the first bird song of spring, like the last bell of school before summer, like freedom. I know that Mary will take me away from here, and we will be able to change everything together. All I have to do is wait for another prophetic dream. Simple. I was so excited after we had our talk, I couldn't sleep for the whole next night. Afterwards, though, I didn't have any dreams, normal or otherwise. I'm not sure if my mood makes a difference. I really don't know much about any of this. However, I think that no dreams, while that means nothing bad nearby is going to happen, it also means that my freedom is being postponed. I have no clue how to jumpstart the visions again or even what triggers them. I guess I also don't really know for sure if my visions are only stuff that happens around me, so I guess for all I know, there are tragedies all around, and I haven't been able to do anything about them. That thought terrifies me. The ever-present idea that anything bad happening is my fault. People around me don't understand what it's like. The prison guards laugh at me. They call me a phony, a liar. Earlier, I hated my gift. It's all because of it that I became stuck here. But now that I have someone who believes me, I'm begging for it to come back so I can leave this place. My loneliness and isolation drives me crazy, though. Mary calls me regularly and asks about my well-being and my dreams, but my answer remains the same. Nothing. I just feel empty and I see nothing. I think she's getting annoyed. She hangs up as soon as I say that I haven't seen anything, but that's okay. I know she just wants to help me like I helped her preventing her murder. I'm positive. Although, sometimes I wonder if maybe she just wants to get famous using my gift. That's why she looks forward to hearing about my dreams. She wants them even more than me, but I'm trying to kick such thoughts out of my mind. I have no proof, and she's the only one willing to help. I need to accept whatever I can get. All I do these days, however, is just sit in my cell pretending to have conversations with made-up people. I just need company. How can this kind of isolation not be considered cruel and unusual punishment? I just need some human interaction. The guards don't count because they don't treat me like a human being. And I don't really want to call Mary again. These last few days, she hasn't said anything to me anymore. She's angry with me, so what am I to do? That day I was lost in my thoughts when suddenly a guard enters. "Stand up! Get out! Now!" He grabs my wrists and drags me towards the exit. I don't resist him, but it still hurts. I have no idea what's going on. He brings me to the room where I talked with Mary for the first time. Finally, I see my investigator once again, and I'll be able to talk with her privately, face to face. She has been missing for several days, and I've become so tired of being alone all the time without any companionship. But instead of Mary, Samantha's mother enters the room. And then Samantha herself follows soon after. She has a bandaged leg, and she looks tired. This is quite the surprise for me. Samantha hasn't visited me before. She said she didn't want to even hear my voice, to say nothing about seeing me or talking to me, and now we're in the same room. I'm sure she still blames me for what happened to her. Why else would she abandon me like this otherwise? I brace myself for whatever she wants to say to me. I'm not sure if I'm brave enough for more rejection, though. Her mother, who has always disliked me, asked Samantha to call the guards in case I do something stupid and erratic, and left. "I need to tell you something," started Samantha. Her shaking voice meant that she was going to say something not very pleasant. I gritted my teeth and balled my fists. "I would never have come here for you. You know that. After everything you've done to me." I tried to explain, but she stopped me and continued speaking. "Please don't. I already know it's your fault. The only thing I still can't understand is how in the world did your mother deserve such an awful daughter?" Samantha sneered at me, looking at me with a mix of pity and disgust. I was stunned. I tried to listen carefully and understand exactly what she was talking about. "I've come here to tell you that your mother is in the hospital. She had a heart attack, and now she's on the verge of death." sat slowly in a chair. I looked at Samantha without really seeing her. She was like my own personal Grim Reaper. Did she come all this way just to tell me that? Was she blaming this on me too? But how? I don't understand. My thoughts were all mixed up in my head. I wanted to scream and cry at the same time. My mother and I rarely saw eye to eye. We fought all the time, and she never bothered to visit me, defend me, or contact me while I've been stuck here in jail. But she's still my mother, right? You have to love your own mother. She gave birth to me, after all. She raised me, and now she's in the hospital and I can't even be with her. Well, I guess she doesn't want to see me anyway. I started crying. Samantha's mother entered, and they left the room together, silently. I was sitting alone for several minutes, crying, not being able to stop. My tears were dripping down my face like salty rain. The main reason for my tears wasn't even that I couldn't see my mother, but for my own pitiful state. Then the guards came, and he roughly grabbed my arm and took me back to my cell. But this time I felt no pain, because all my feelings and thoughts were somewhere far away, where my mother is lying in her hospital bed, all alone. I lay down on my bed and huddled. This way I was trying to save the rest of my energy, not to sink in the deepest depths of despair, where I had no way of crawling back out. I don't know for how long I stayed like that, but the next thing I knew, Mary had entered my cell. She carefully sat on my bed and hugged me, without a word. Someone must have told her what had happened. That simple act of kindness, that human touch. It was like I was breathing air for the first time, and I gulped it greedily. The feeling of someone who cares for me, someone who has an interest in me, not because of my gift, but because of me. It was so warm. You can cry if you want to, said Mary. I've already cried my eyes out. Then Mary asked me about my dreams, whether I had some or not. I rapidly shook my head. Those damn dreams don't want to let me out of here. Like they were doing it on purpose. They stopped appearing just to keep me here for the rest of my life. I had no idea what the hell was happening. Mary stayed with me for several more minutes, and then she got called away. She kissed me on the forehead goodbye and said that she believes me despite everything. And then she was gone, and I fell asleep. It was a nervous and desperate sleep, but I saw a dream once again. That morning, I woke up in a funk because I'd seen all the terrors that were going to happen pretty soon. There was going to be a murder. It was gruesome. The suspect would be wearing a mask and would try to assassinate our mayor, who was a good and strong man with good morals. I don't know who he upset to cause this kind of response, but that's not what matters right now. The murder will happen around noon, and there will be a big crowd. It was a miracle that no one except the mayor had gotten hurt. It feels like the shooter in the mask was a true specialist, someone who really knows his stuff. I saw how everything went down. The lifeless body of the mayor falling down at the center of the square, and all the people beginning to panic and to run away, fleeing the scene for their own safety. The killer got down from their perch and looked around. Men and women were screaming, children were crying, and the first responders were trying to evacuate the population and get to the mayor. It was so scary. Really scary. After I woke up, I felt that the most terrifying thing was the consequences that would follow. If someone kills the mayor, the city could sink into chaos. He was the only person who can contain all these people in our city for all these years. Only he could control us the way he had recently enacted really good progressive policies that made both parties happy. That's why I was afraid to even imagine what would happen if we don't prevent this assassination and save the mayor. When I woke up and collected my thoughts, I knocked at the door and asked the guards to call Mary. They laughed at me once again, but I was persistent. I begged them, though I didn't mention the name of the mayor and everything that I had seen in my dream. What was the point of trying to convince them? I just begged them to call my investigator for her to come here as soon as possible. Finally, they relented. In half an hour, Mary was here. What have you seen? Please, tell me, Jane, she said nervously. Whew. The mayor's assassination. What? How? Today? She said. I honestly don't know, Mary. I know what day it is, and I know the place. It'll be around noon in our square of fame. That's where I saw his body fall when he was shot with a bullet coming from this direction. I mimed the whole scenario. Mary was sitting near me and shaking her head. Apparently, she couldn't believe what I was saying. Not like this is any easier for me. Dare I say I might actually have the worse end of the bargain. But Mary was already trying to figure out what to do. She abruptly stood up. Listen, we need to go to my department. There, my team will devise a rescue plan. It's important that we call his security. They need to give him a bulletproof vest. Our only hope is that he'll heed our words, and also that he hasn't left for the event already. Then we approached the door and left the cell. I didn't even look back to see those boorish guards and the astonished, dumbfounded faces I'm sure they wore. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episodes.